Welcome to the Block Party. My name is Seth Kushner, episode 99. I'm staring at my guest's eyes right now. Normally, I don't do that until I've officially introduced him, but we're locked in right now. Coach Cooper, welcome to the Block Party.
Who's going to break away first? We haven't blinked yet.
I'm not.
You blinked. All right.
Did I? You scared me. Coach Cooper said I had horrible handwriting, and then that freaked me out. And then I go, well, look at this board behind me. That's horrible handwriting. And he said, yeah, that's my handwriting. So you don't need good handwriting these days. And I write things, Coach Cooper, so only I can read them. That's kind of the way I do that. So it's just.
I was an attorney in my previous life, so attorneys are much like doctors. Writing's brutal. Only ones that can read it are themselves.
That's my secret.
So, yeah.
All right, listen. First question I want to know. Tell me about Charles Barkley. We know that you guys are friends. Just how did this friendship happen? Charles Barkley has just been a guy that I've always admired. Any political side, you can agree with Charles Barkley. He tells it like it is, and we need more people like him. He's a national treasure, and you're friends with him. How did that happen?
Yeah, he is that guy that literally he could say anything he wanted to the Pope, the president, a pimp, and and none of them would be offended. He just has that way of saying whatever he wants. But he, by the way, like if you, like the Masters and all this sporting events are going on, he's in like every commercial. Like literally, I don't know where he finds the time to do what he's doing. Whether it was the college basketball, anyway, he's really finding a way. He's having a nice.
He's got a good agent.
Career.
Yeah, he's got a great agent. So how did this
call him?
How did this come to be? Because all of a sudden
it came to be. We were in the hotel. We were in L.A. in 2015. We were playing the Kings, and we came in. So we were there for a few days, and the bar inside the lobby was under construction, and anyway, my dad was there and my brother and friends. And so anyway, we came in after a night to dinner, and there were 4 people sitting in this makeshift bar because it was completely closed. It had like paper up, and one of them was Charles Barkley. And so nothing really happened in the beginning. And then all of a sudden they were the only 4 people there. And then we kind of migrated together. And next thing you know, it was hours and hours later. And one thing is, I never told him I was the coach of the Lightning. So I'd only been the coach for, a year or so. But we just completely hit it off and exchanged numbers. And I don't think he found out I was coach of the Lightning for 6 to 8 months after.
What was his reaction? Would he just text you one day?
Well, he told me, and he was like, I didn't know you were coach of the Lightning. I think I made some reference or whatever. And so it had to be, maybe it was late 2014. Maybe it was 2014 because we went to the Cup final in 2015, and he was well on board by then. But we had so much fun, and that's what's great about Charles is he doesn't care who you are. If you're a good person, have fun, and he's like the life of the party. He's got energy, passion, and we literally hit it off. And all these years later, we're still.
It's really crazy. It just shows what a hell of a guy you are, that you can meet Charles Barkley, become friends with him, and not have to say, oh, by the way, I'm a coach in the NHL or anything like that. I'd have to throw anything against the wall I could to get Chuck to have a conversation with me. But you were able to just be smooth and become friends with him, just being John Cooper. So that's great. What's the craziest thing he said to you about the Lightning? Does he ever text you after games or the Cups or anything? I mean, I'm sure he probably wasn't the biggest hockey fan.
Yeah, he's a big sports fan. The one thing that kind of got us going is on his show on TNT, which I found out later, he kind of pumped our tires. And he's like, my boy Coop, and we're pulling for the Lightning. And so that started the whole, everything that started going down. Then we were at this restaurant during the Cup final, brought the whole staff there, and the bill was somewhat large, and but he'd given me the recommendation of the restaurant, got us the room in Chicago, and then we went to pay the bill, and he'd already paid it. And so now you're like, okay, enough, Charles. He's just being this gracious guy, but
he might have won that betting on you guys. So I think that might have been why he was able to return.
Maybe he's like, all right, go get him, boys. But but anyway, he's really gravitated to our team, and. So he just became a grandfather for the first time, and so I sent his granddaughter all this like baby clothes and Tampa Bay Lightning stuff, and
That's awesome.
And so yeah, we've he's been a great friend, and honestly, he's been great for the game. To have somebody like him promoting us has been awesome.
I agree. Thank you for sharing that story. All right, now your son's in here, Johnny, and I have to say, he walked in, looked at me, looked at JP, saw the setup, and goes, I know this podcast, which no one's ever done before. So, like, I felt alive. Yeah. I felt alive because Coach Cooper saw that. So he knows it's legit. I want to ask you because
so you're big with the 11-year-olds in Tampa.
Listen, it doesn't download to download.
Yeah.
We'll take. It doesn't say who it comes from.
You've hit your demographic.
We'll take what we can get. I'm hoping to get you to watch it or listen to an episode after this. So this started with Dan Girardi. He did 20 episodes with me the year after he retired, and he would talk. He would bring in his notebook, very detailed guy, and he would talk about youth hockey. That I think his son played with your son and played with Vinny's son, right?
Yes.
And the teams were just unstoppable. How hard is it for you to be a hockey?
I'll give you a quick story.
Okay.
So my son's gonna not like it now, but he was in squirt, so he was probably 8. And so Landon Girardi, G's son, and Gabe LeCavalier and Johnny, they've all played together all the way up, but they were 8 or 9 years old. And they were in the state championship game, and they ended up winning the state championship game against the team from the Florida area, the Panthers, Junior Panthers, whatever. And they won 3-2. And on their team, Derek McKenzie, who's a coach of one of the Florida coaches, and the game was 3-2. We won the game in overtime, and the goal scorers for our team were my son, Girardi's kid, and Vinny's kid, and Mackenzie's kid got both their goals. So we had kind of a fun, like the NHL tied kids really rose to the occasion that game. But it was, it's been a lot of fun, and geez, so much fun, and his son Landon was so much fun. So it was a big loss when they left and moved back up north.
Is it hard for you to be a full-on hockey dad? Obviously, with everything going on during the season. I mean, how many games are you able to catch? You just get video?
Unfortunately, I don't get to catch many, and that's the hard thing. I was able to go to 2 of their state championship wins. I was able to be there. This year, I was not. It just goes how the schedule is, but I love to go because I'm attached to it through my son and not through myself, and the unfortunate part, though, and not unfortunate, I guess, but I am way more like emotionally involved when my son's in. Like, when it's our team, I'm at work, and it's naturally I'm involved and emotionally involved, but it's work. But when I'm working, I've got control over the situation with the players, who I'm putting on the ice, how we're coaching, and all these things. When I'm watching my son, I have zero control. And that is probably the hardest part for me. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have any control what's going on.
Is that when you feel like you could choke a referee? Is that when you get into hockey dad mode, where you're like, I don't have any control, this is driving me crazy?
Yeah,
do you feel those? I know you're not a crazy, getting ejected or anything from the youth games, but do you feel like that, where you're just like,
I feel like you're going somewhere with that?
I do. That's question number 7. But do you feel like, does it bother you? Do you see some stuff you're like, this isn't right, or this is like this person made a horrible call, or they're trying to screw my son? Do you get any of that?
Well, that's where your body's saying one thing and your mind's thinking another. So I sit there as the quiet dad in the corner, and I don't say anything, but I'm thinking a lot of things.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So I do want to know, not so much about the ejection, but where do you go after you're ejected? What happens? I mean, and can they really make you leave? They couldn't make Will Smith leave the Oscars after Chris Rock. I mean, how do they really make you leave the bench? And so tell us what happens after, Coach Cooper.
That's a good point. Like, what would they have done? They have security? Like, would they had to call our in-house security to have me removed?
That's what I was thinking.
And I doubt they would have done that. And I doubt security would actually come on and said, hey, that's a really good, maybe we have to test the waters there.
I did think they might make you guys forfeit. I thought that might have been a thing. I don't know. That was the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But I for you, I think you could have stayed there.
We were losing that game anyway. So it was like... I did think, though, maybe we'd get a little life, but no. The toughest part for me, I'll be honest, it was a rattling experience for me. Not so much that I was rattled that I got tossed out of the game. Let's not debate why I got tossed out. The fact that I did get tossed out, whether it was deserving or not. So I sit back and I think, I just can't believe that happened. But the part for me was the ref put us down 5-on-3, and that was the crusher for me, because now I watched Ryan McDonough eat 2 pucks that I just cringed. And I was like you asked the video guys I was with during that, I was literally visibly shaken about that. And because I put our team in peril. And anyway, we got through it. We killed it off. I thought that might give us a little life. Anyway, we didn't end up winning. But that was really hard for me to know that we put our team down. But to answer your question, I didn't go anywhere exciting. I was in the video room with the guys where the extras usually sit, but none of them came in because now I was in there. So to be honest, it was a pretty cool perspective to see what our guys do in the room while our games are on, because we're always just communicating with them on the walkie-talkies. And then Julian, our general manager, came down right away too. So I wasn't sure how that was going to go over, but he was awesome as usual and really supportive. And we just watched the game together. And
well, that's a good that takes a negative into a positive. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a different perspective, and so I don't want to plan on doing that anymore. But I'm glad, looking in hindsight now, I'm okay that it happened, because you grow from it, learn from it, and I got to see a different side of what goes on with our team.
That's all right. I've got a million questions. This is awesome. I'm loving this interview. Tell me about, this is something that I wrote down after Breesman took my notepad, so I hope it's okay. The third line from the last couple of years with, Gord, Coleman, Goody, it's something everybody talks about. It's, the guys started the games, they finished the games. I talked to all the guys about it, and it's a memory for the fans. And I feel like a blueprint for a successful line to win a Stanley Cup was built, when that third line was put together. What made you put those three guys together?
Yeah, I would love to sit here and take all the credit and say, well, I knew that was going to happen right away. But no, it took a little trial and error. And if you remember, we made those trades, and I was trying to find a spot for those guys. We probably played 8 or 9 games while they were here, and I don't even know if Gaudreau had a goal, and they did minimal points. And anyway, we had to pause, and so then it gave you a little time to reflect and say, okay, this is what we have. And when we came back from that training, or for the new training camp to go into the bubble, so I had time to digest what we had. And so that's when the thought came in, okay, let's put this line together that can give us energy, give us bite. But it wasn't Yanni Gord in the middle first. It was actually I was kind of feeling out Tyler Johnson there, and then Yanni Gord. And so we went through this little mini training camp and settled on Gord, and then that's where it came about. But who knows, if we don't have that pause, and because the season happens so fast, games, and you're in the playoffs, you don't have sometimes the time to sit there and say, well, do we have time to run a little training camp here and figure this out? So the pause probably helped that out. Well, it definitely helped that out for myself. And then I had a little time to see what I wanted to, and the guys fit, and obviously it worked out.
It sounds like
phenomenal.
You're taking credit for it, I think, and you should. I think
well,
that's okay.
The situation came about to allow me to do this. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, I thought of that right away, because I didn't. It took me
a little trial and
error and a little to figure it out, but it worked.
I like hearing that. So winning 2 Stanley Cups, I like to talk to all of the guys because they seem to be so happy for other people when they win the Stanley Cup. Who were you happy for? Initially, maybe the first one. Was the second one different? I know
probably this is probably twofold. Jeff Vinnick, first and foremost, just because I've been with him the whole time, whether it's the minors, the NHL, just to watch how he's transformed this city, what he's given, the amount of time, what he's put into the arena, what is so many things, like to be able to, and on the second one, I got to, I handed him the Stanley Cup, which was a big thrill of mine because he couldn't be at the first one. And so we had a little tradition, after every playoff round, the Vinnicks come down into our locker room. And, Jeff is such a humble guy. In the bubble, I had to FaceTime him all the time. So it was cool in the second one for him to be there. I think it was fate. My son keeps putting his hand up, so I want to hear what he has to say.
18, what, for the rings? Is that, or what?
Is he? I think he's making.
Oh, the cat.
think you made a Kucherov reference there.
It was a Kucherov joke. I like it. Okay, I'm glad we could joke about that. Do we know, by the way, do the guys on LTIR, do they get rings or anything like that? We kind of joke about it amongst ourselves. We don't know, so I don't know what goes on there.
But the other one too would probably be, then it was my parents, and they couldn't be there. I FaceTimed them when I was on the ice. Naturally, my family, my son sitting over there, everybody's excited. But, you think about a lot of the things, your sacrifices in your life growing up, what your parents do for you. And so it was really unfortunate my family couldn't be there. But to understand what they meant to me, and then what my immediate family, my wife and my 3 awesome kids, to be able to, I FaceTimed you guys while I was on the ice, didn't I? Yeah. And it was, they're the people you think about the most. So
tell me about, I know you took the cup all over the place, talked about going to my friend's Chelsea's bar and Ebor and all that. Tell me, what were some of the most memorable places you took it around town? Because it seems like you were the guy that took it around the most. And tell me about if you feel a connection with the city that you wouldn't be able to feel if you didn't win the Stanley Cup.
Well, I think you owe it. For me, it's a duty to bring it to everybody in the city. We don't get to have the interactions. We're standing on the bench with our 20 players on the ice, and there's 19,000 people that you don't get to high five or hang out with. And I felt all these people have stood beside us, and from when we got swept in 2014 and swept in 2019 and made it to the finals in 2015 and lost 2 heartbreaking game 7s in 16 and 18 and been so close, that you have to bring it. That's the reason you win the Stanley Cup. People are like, oh, you want it for yourself. No, you don't want it for yourself. You win the Stanley Cup so you can share it with other people. And so so many people have been great to me in this city, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this opportunity if that cup comes available, which it did because of COVID. He wasn't allowed to leave the state and stuff like that. I snatched that baby, and I took it to Anna Maria Island, to multiple establishments in this town and restaurants, and let the people enjoy it. And because they're the people that deserve it.
Yeah, and I think Killer was just taking it to dinner on the golf courses, I think, that year. So I'm glad that you were taking it around the city so people can get some use out of it. All right, don't hurt me for this, but this is something I've asked. You started this podcast with Girardi, right after, you guys lost to Columbus and everything like that, and talked to him about that. What was that offseason like? Or maybe the weeks after? I feel like Julian came out and people were like, things have to change. This isn't working. Was it just a bad week of hockey? Do we need to get rid of Stamkos? Do we need to change coach? Like, what did you hear, and what was that like for you?
Well, there was a ton of emotions. It was embarrassing. And I think the big thing for me was, I don't know, deep down inside, if I look now, we had that 62-win season. You look now, only 2 teams in history have won 62 games. And to think that we are one of them in the 100-plus years of this league. But to go out the way we did, we weren't ready to win. And I think there were things that came a little too easy for us. It was a magical year. But we checked a lot of boxes. Lots of guys won individual awards, which they were deserving in the regular season. And I remember sitting at that award show. Actually, I was the only one, I think, of our group that didn't win an award. But it was like the comedians up there making fun of us, and it was like, it was humble pie. It was like, eat it. And we didn't go up there and slap anybody. We sat there in our seats, and we... And
yeah, but now we know for next time it's possible.
Yeah, we took it. Now I realize it's Anyway, so we go through this, and it was the big thing for me though was we went to the NHL draft, and now I got to face my peers, and it was a coach I'm close with, and he said, "Hey, Coop, I feel for you." But he goes, "You guys don't need to change anything." Kind of gave me in my head. He goes, "You got there for a reason." He kind of pumped my tires a little bit, and so we had to change our mindset, and so that can be a difficult thing to do. And I think when we came back, there was a little, I think there one time we were 17 and 13, which was not what we are used to. but we were deserved to be better. We just weren't getting the results. And slowly, when we changed our mindset and then acquired those guys at the deadline and what we had to do, it became we became really a team first group, and it was whatever it was the best for the team. It didn't matter who did it, ice time, anything, and then we won. And that's really why it's an ultimate team sport.
I hate asking this, but I've asked it to several of the guys, and I want to know: do the 2 cups happen without 2019, without the way that you guys lost to Columbus? Do you feel like those 2 cups happen?
I would probably say probably not, to be honest. And so everybody says, "Oh, you need failure, you need loss before you can win." Well, that's BS. You don't need that. You can win without that. It's if that does happen to you, it's how do you challenge yourself? How do you take those losses and move forward? I thought we did it the right way. But for our group, we in 2015, we didn't really lose anything before we went to the finals. Like, we were just the new kids on the block, and we went all the way to all the finals, and we 2 games away from winning it. Did we learn from that? We didn't win for 5 years after that. But this time around, I think we would checked every box except for the mental side of it. And when we found out that skill alone and the greatest show on ice, that's not what it's about. It's not about beating a team 9-0. It's about beating a team 1-0. And when we figured that out, and which we did in 2019, because I'll never forget the 3-0 lead that we blew in that game.
I was there.
Yeah, so was I. I had a standing room seat to it. But
did it feel like, is there momentum? Like, do you feel momentum like they're just slipping away and there's nothing we could do, or you never feel like that?
No, you could feel it in the game. It was more disbelief. I think that was what was happening. It was like, no way this is happening. And then we looked at ourselves after that first game. We're like, well, we had these guys. We just kind of blew it. It'll be okay. But our numbers, like the way we were playing, we're like, wow, these guys are actually, they're kicking our ass. And you saw the frustration come out. I think Cooch got suspended for a game, and we were just frustrated. And thankfully for our group, myself and the players, we channeled our energy the proper way. Not to, we weren't looking to get revenge on Columbus or anything. Like, Columbus did what they had to do. They played a hockey series and they beat us. It's irony. If fans out there understand, like, we were never going to play Columbus in the first any rounds, but because of the pause, the bubble, and all of a sudden, like, teams get knocked out. Holy cow, we're playing Columbus again. So I thought that was irony. The 5 overtime Braden Point goal, who knows if we don't score that, if we keep going. But the boys really wanted to win, and they did.
And listen, not that you care what kind of Lightning shirts that I wear around town. I have a bunch, obviously, but the one that I wear the most is where it's the bubble, and it's the shirt of the Lightning versus Columbus for that first series, and I wear it all the time, more so than like Stanley Cup shirts, because I feel like that was the turning point, beating Columbus in the bubble, and then boom, led to all of this. So that's definitely my favorite. Let me ask you, Coach Cooper, what's something you know about coaching now that you wish you knew when you first started? Unless you had it all figured out.
No. No. Probably, I got asked this question once in a similar way. Probably delegating duties. And when I first was coming up, it was hard to delegate because it was basically by myself. I had one assistant. And when I got to professional hockey, 12 years ago or whatever it was, I still did everything by myself. And I think I shortchanged our players and our coaching staff by doing it that way. And it's that saying, surround yourself with good people and good things will happen. And that's, if I could go back now, I would have done that way earlier than what I've done now. And when I started doing all that, we were seeing the fruits of our labor. So, try finding good people, trusting them, and then letting them do their jobs. Probably the best thing I could give for advice.
Have you met Tom Brady?
Just by text.
Oh man, same with Stammer. Did he reach out to you? Or you reached out to him?
We were brought into a group text.
How does that? Who brings you in? Charles Barkley? I mean, what's
Yeah, no. Actually, you know what brought me in that one was Rondé Barber.
Rondé Barber. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's just like, hey, Coach Cooper, this is Tom Brady. Like the meeting, the whole reason of the mass text was to introduce you guys.
Well, it wasn't a math. It was the three of us.
Okay.
And then I don't know what exactly was going to. I think we were going to meet at some point, but we couldn't do it. And so anyway, super nice guy.
That's cool.
By text.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Now, can you tell me, as far as when Corey Perry signed with the Lightning? I don't know. When do you find out about something like that? I guess it comes together pretty quickly. Hey, we got a little bit of cash. We can make this happen. What's the process like for that? Does JBB go, hey, this is on the table, and you go, let's do it, or?
Yeah, it's similar to that, but it happens way before. Like Julian just doesn't make knee-jerk signings. Say, oh, by the way, I just signed Corey Perry. It's like, oh, okay. But that's I think what's cohesive and great about. And go back to the last question is Julian. This is more delegating, but he's got an inner circle too that everybody speaks with, and whether it's Jamie Pusher or Stacey Roost or Darchie or Al Murray, and then it's us as a coaching staff and what we need. So we go through our needs, what we think we need, and then Julian goes on the hunt, and then things get done. But yeah, this is prepared way beforehand. Now the actual day he signs, I probably don't know when that happens, but do I know that Corey Perry's in the hopper? Yes. Actually, ironically, we were trying to get Corey Perry. It was down to us in Montreal the year before.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then he ended up signing in Montreal, and then anyway, we got him. So these players, it's just like Joe Pavelski. Yeah, Joe Pavelski was between us and Dallas.
There was a dinner, wasn't there? I feel like somebody took a picture of you guys at dinner with Pavelski.
There was. I actually spent literally 24 hours with him, he and his wife, and it was great. And I think he was torn, but he went where he saw fit and then ended up going all the way to the final. So
those guys messed up. Hey, listen, Coach Cooper, do you celebrate Young Gravy's catalog? I know he's a big part of the first Stanley Cup win. Is that something you listen to with your son? Are you not into it? Have you hung out with Young Gravy?
No, I don't know Young Gravy, but every time you say that, I think of Kevin Shattenkirk. It just pops into my head. He was kind of the guy that was always running that whole
Was
act.
he?
Yeah. And I
Seems
don't know
like the last guy that would run the Young Gravy music and all that stuff.
He's the guy that I think of. But that's the great thing about winning, because you say that, I think of Shatty, and gives me good feelings.
When I say parade, first or second one, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
Chaos, bedlam. It was just, oh my gosh, what's that?
Rain. That was yeah. We don't want to talk about
it. Was the first one. It's like both cups. So the first one, it's your first, phenomenal, and I loved the party because nobody was at the party except for the 52 people in the bubble, and you got to spend and enjoy and cherish hours of work with your team. And then the second one was we went at home in front of our fans, and it was a complete different celebration because now you're not with really your team, you're with everybody else partying. And so I feel like that was the parade. The first one, new, it was cool, it was awesome. We kind of obviously have set some sort of trend here.
Oh, yeah.
But as good as that parade was, the second one was on steroids. Like that was, because that goes from our parade, then it goes to the Bucks parade, and they throw the trophy and stuff like that. But that second one for us, you combine those two, the Bucks parade and our first parade, that's what the second one was. It was complete bedlam.
Did any of your players on how they celebrated surprise you? I was there for the first one at Raymond James Stadium.
I like to call it sleep deprivation. There was it's unique, and I don't want to sell guys out.
No.
Some of the stories and some of the things you hear, when the season ends in the first bubble, and you're like, wow, I didn't know about that about you or this. And I'm rarely around players when they're having as much fun as they were having. So it was, to be honestly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed letting us see being able to see the guys let loose. It was a lot of fun. All that other stuff, if they're kids.
Yeah.
So
Listen, I didn't see anything. We'll just edit that out. Do you have a desire to go to the White House?
I do.
Are you upset that you haven't been invited with each of the last couple of cups?
So that's actually not true. It just hasn't worked out.
Okay, sorry.
That was and it's still a possibility that this might happen. We're just in DC last week, and I think things are in the work. Hopefully, it works out, and it has nothing to do with who's in power now or parties or anything. It has to do with the history of this country and who has been in that house, who's stayed in that house, the people that have kind of directed and formed the country we live in. I want to go be a part of that. And I think that is, let's turn the page on the pandemic, as unfortunate it's been. And it's caused a lot of chaos in a lot of our lives. And let's go back. I look, how many times have you seen the picture of whatever sports team is with the president, enjoying an accomplishment, and
all
it
of them.
It's awesome, and it takes away from the daily grind of probably what goes on in that office and the stress. And if we can be a part of lifting up some people, I think it'd be cool. And I know at least 3 people either in the digital media or stuff like that for the press corps and the White House are from Tampa.
Okay.
So they're fired up if we can come in there. So hopefully it's soon.
And you guys should go on back-to-back days. I think they should let you guys have two appearances. Coach Cooper, is there anybody that you take fashion tips from on the team? Do you ever look at anybody and go, man, I gotta dress more like this guy? Are you good with what you kind of have right now?
That's a good question, Johnny. Who we? That's a son to father bump right there.
Yeah, I like that. What are you trying to get after this interview? Or are you trying to get your dad to take you? Would you wear a hat if you could on the bench?
I would.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would. So for me, I know a lot of sports are going to, wearing the uniforms or wearing sweats. Like even basketball now used to wear suits and ties. And to me, I guess I'm a little bit more old school. I know the younger generations are like, hey, let loose and wear that flat bill hat you're rocking right now, or the hat on backwards as my son has going. But I look at the history of the sport, and I think there's it's a respect for the game. I'm not sitting here saying there's no respect for me necessarily, but to respect the game and who's been before us and who's going to come after us, and the suit and tie and making sure you look good. I think that's part of the game, and that's part of our culture, and so I hope that doesn't change. I can't speak for other sports, but as for the fashion tips, I don't know.
Have you busted out your Western wear since the Stadium Series game, or no?
Actually, I just had it on the other day, the coat. There's a big battle in the house. Who's
sisters, they want that so bad.
Yeah, they want that coat.
They do?
Oh, yeah.
Can you give it to them, or?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah. Fill us in when the decision's made.
Well, I don't know. I run Coop's Catch for kids, and the charity's been. I have a lot of pride in that charity and for what we do for the kids, and so.
You do it like a boating, take them out fishing or something, right?
Take them out fishing, yeah. I take, we bring the players out and bring sponsors out. That's how we, generate money for the foundation, and so maybe that coat I'll have to put on auction at Coop's Catch. Take the fight out of the kids and just give it to the kids, so it really can do something.
Let's auction one of Johnny's sticks off too. That might be good. That might be good. Are you good with that, or
what? I thought you were going to say something else.
What was I going to say?
You were like, give it to the kids. And then you're going to say something
No, not my kids.
But you stopped it.
It's tough doing a podcast when your kid is
judging
you with everything that comes out of your mouth. Like, he's laughing, his eyes are crossing.
How am I doing? Am I doing an okay job so far? Oh my God! Wow.
And now I'm getting critiqued. So,
listen, this part. Well, we got to break down the game.
I was
tape.
bringing him to lunch. Now, no.
All right. This is Coach Cooper. I value your time. So this is the last question. I want to know
If you valued my time, we would have been done a half hour ago.
What? How long have we gone? How long?
35 minutes.
35. Okay. That's good. I did 40 with Eddie Olczyk. Would you rather sing the national anthem in front of the Lightning crowd or arm wrestle Rod the Bod Brindamore?
Oh gosh, for sure, arm wrestle Rod, because that would be over in like 2 seconds.
That's what I said.
The anthem would take like 90 seconds of like.
Would you feel more comfortable doing "O Canada"?
100%.
Okay. I like "O Canada" more. I don't know if that's like controversial to say, but I find it to be a more enjoyable song.
Yeah.
So, and I think we'll end on that note.
You know why I hear too? Because like you could sing it here, and most people wouldn't even know if I was getting the words right.
Yeah, that's true.
Although there are a lot of Canadians down here. So
Yeah. Well, listen, I just wanted to bring up Rod the Bod Brindamore. That guy scares me. I feel like he's going to jump over.
Well, hold on a sec here. I said it would be over in 2 seconds. I didn't say who was going to win.
Are you saying?
No, I think we all know.
He's definitely one of the scariest coaches in all of sports to me, to be honest with you. The guy is intense. He looks like he's ready to play at any moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he suited up during a playoff game and nobody knew.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy's a complete animal. They have a good team over
He
there
is
in
a
Carolina.
savage. He's kept himself in shape. You know, Rod the Bod and I went to the same high school.
No.
Who see that? Didn't do his homework.
Who went first? You? I mean, I know that. I knew that.
And why does he have to bring that up?
Well, because I research coach.
You know what's crazy? I used to be, when I first came in this league, I was like the young coach. Now I might be one of I may not. Well, I'm probably on the older side now.
No. I think you look young. You're in the middle.
Yeah, I'm probably in the middle.
Yeah, you're in the middle. It's good. You got 2 cups. Who cares? It doesn't matter. You can be all wrinkly. You're good to go forever. Coach Cooper, listen, man, this was amazing. I appreciate it so much. A big fan of yours. Everything you've done for the community, for Tampa, for the Lightning, and thanks for sitting down and answering my dumb questions on a Saturday.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing me on. I'm glad that episode 90, there was 98 people that were ahead of me on this list.
Yeah.
So thanks for.
Well, not even that. We had Espo on 4 times,
yeah.
Callie on 4. Listen, Breesman doesn't want to bother you. You're an important guy. I'm not important whatsoever. So we try to work around, some of the bigger people until we can't do that anymore. So.
Yeah, Breesman heard. Everybody's listening now. Yeah.
I'm looking out for Breezer. It's true. Why would you?
After going through all this, I'm impressed that this has actually lasted 99 episodes.
My God. Coach Cooper's singing me. All right, listen, Coach Cooper, go enjoy your Saturday. I'm sure you haven't had a Saturday night off in a long time. Thank you very much.
All right, I appreciate it, and I'm not going to tell. My kids won't have heard this yet, but I'm taking them to. You know where we're going tonight?
No, Mom said we were going somewhere.
I know. I'm taking you on a little adventure. Go see your boy. Who's in town tonight? Who's singing?
I know this.
It's your boy.
I know this.
Yeah.
You don't big Maple Leafs fan?
He's a big Maple Leafs fan. We'll have to make him. Yeah. So we're going to see Beebs tonight.
That's great. That's a great Saturday night.
Now we've just
enjoy it.
See, that was supposed to be a surprise. Now you've ruined that too.
Let's put this out podcast now instead of Monday, so people get the breaking news.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks so much, and I love your passion. This is awesome.
Thank you.
You guys do this.